friend, but when we do well, she doesn't sleep because I talk all night. Coach Ryoko, without her, we're not a successful team, so thank you, Coach. Every year, I give the 8th Man Award. The person who had staying power this year, who just kind of pulled it out at the end, was Nancy Hittner. Don't look surprised, they're 8th man. 12 Christian boys. That is more than I've had in 2 years previous combined. The first one I'm going to Tomas New. He also earned the Coaches Award. The second letter goes to Arthur Nguyen. We wouldn't have a freshman sophomore team without Arthur because he's the only sophomore. The next one is for Ron. I got to know Ron on the road trip because he was my shotgun. He was the side guy. Justin Castleman. Every single practice ended with the traditional, thank you, Coach. David Hinkie. We only had about 5 freshmen run 18s. It is one of them. Jonathan Shee. I don't know what Jonathan's stride looks like because when I see him run, I just look at the hair. Very spot. When you go to Tiny Hill, if you did a walk Tiny Hill, that's when I can tell that the kid's up and coming. Wesley Chan. Wesley Chan, once he decides that he wants to be varsity, he's varsity. Jesse Amanda. Nickname AYSO. Nicholas Fong. Nicholas had to miss a lot of our practices because of speech. Brandon Say. I was focused during the early season and he improved quite a bit this year. And it was really, really enjoyable watching him. This is our Coach's job isn't done until the last uniform is collected. So if you have a uniform out there, please. Oh, thank you. We had one of the best JV teams we've had in years. Justin Chow. He assured me that he will be up here next year. And Cesar Hernandez. Now Cesar should have come with Justin 3 years ago. JV girls. First one is Monica. For a minute there, I thought I had lost Monica and Callie. This young lady is a committed runner. Traveled with the team, warmed up with the team, cooled down with the team. Didn't get to race. She was an alternate. Came back the next week. Same thing. They're about ready to do strides, and I'm not sure why it caught my attention. But I look down and I see Callie's orange racing flats. And I think to myself, wow, this girl is the alternate. But she's ready to go in case for that and many other reasons throughout the season. Callie is this year's Female Coaches Award recipient. Wow, varsity. This is the only time in my life, my coaching career, that I have ever coached a kid for 4 years. And I had 3 kids that I would have for 4 years. First time we had a league champion since 1993. First time in 1994 that we had the boys and the girls advance to CIF finals. This team took 12, running 2 seconds slower than a team in 1993 that won CIF. I never thought we would have a team that could even be compared to a Phil Ryan or a Jack Bradford team. So this year was great. Then the girls, they decide to run a great season when it mattered. The start of the season really started with all the headlines with the boys team, but then all of a sudden the girls decided to drop 5 minutes from the previous time and show up at CIF finals and then challenge all the big teams. This young lady was injured halfway through the season. I figured she earned it. She was going to get 3 more anyway, so might as well start now. Jade. When a coach tells you that you have nothing to lose, you should take a chance, the appropriate response is, okay. So Marissa goes out, takes a chance, and runs 22 minutes as a freshman at Mount Sac at CIF finals. I know that this young lady has an H in her name. And it's not on the certificate. Her nickname is Rolex. She is precise. If I need to tell a kid, what I need you to do is be this far ahead of her or this far behind her, the one thing I can count on is that Sarah will be where she has to be. Sarah Linton. She is also the recipient of Rookie of the Year. This young lady has nothing but fight in her. She's been fighting for her varsity spot for the last 2 years, and freshmen keep coming up trying to take it. And it won't be any different next year, from what I'm reading on Twitter. If you're going to have somebody fighting for the team, you want it to be Marina Flores. I should have asked this young lady's father to accidentally place his Letterman jacket somewhere. Her father was on the CIF championship team. Veronica was so excited the other day when she saw her dad's jacket that she took a picture of it and brought it to me. And I looked at her and I said, well, you have 2 more years to lead a team. Veronica Mejia. I'm going to bring the next 2 up together because they're my team captains. It is one thing to be a team captain. That's a great season to start with. But in the perfect plan, you play a big role in the big race. Caitlin and Lindsay saved their best for the big races this year. 2015 at Mount Sac, I mean, that's a serious time. And I'm glad she did it as a senior. She got to walk away from that course conquering it. Lindsay gets 1 more year to conquer it, but she took a huge step at it. So next year, some 20s, maybe 19s, because that might take a 19 to make this team, Captain. Caitlin and Lindsay Swear. Alyssa Barraza was able to maintain the 6:16 pace at state after maintaining the 6:14 pace at CIF. It took me a while for that to sink in. I really never believed I would coach anybody, especially with my limited mileage, into an 18-minute time at Mount Sac. That is a serious time. Coach Ryan is researching to see how many San Marino athletes have ever done that. And he has mentioned to me that it's got to be less than a handful. So I'm sitting here thinking, man, she's got 2 more years to hit 17. And I'm thinking, that boys team better not have anybody running 18 because they're going to be looking at Alyssa Barraza on the boys team. Last year we had an amazing freshman, and you get one every 3 or 4 years. We didn't realize we were going to get them back to back. This young man set a pace. Running 17s at Mount Sac as a freshman is a solid effort. And to do it with limited mileage, it's an extraordinary effort. And John Judge, we had a pretty talented kid. who almost won the Mount Sac Invitational. He took third by running 17:01. I looked over to this year's times, and I didn't realize that this kid had run the same time as a sophomore. He dropped over a minute in 1 year on the Mount Sac course. And when I was watching the video today, watching him go up poop out with such focus, I realized where he made his move on the back. Ewan, what a great year. This next kid at the Mount Sac Invitational, as he's entering the chute at the finish line, somebody stepped on his ankle, which had been injured during a workout. He was adamant to continue running. And even with those setbacks, he was able to run 17s after running 18s last year, which tells you that, you know, with these two, this group is returning some pretty good kids. Kenneth Lee. $16:38 at Mount Sac as a sophomore is a really, really strong effort. Probably would have made one of the better teams in San Marino history. Very, very tough. And you know it's tough when the seniors who have had stellar careers come up and tell you that's fast. I would be surprised if he doesn't challenge the 15s next year. We have a plan for him. Andrew Jack. This kid works hard. He's not the ideal size for cross country, and he's definitely not the ideal size for Mount Sac. He did start the sport early with us. He had to learn the hard way. He was placed in varsity early on. Never complained. Just did anything it took to make varsity, and he knew he was under attack this year. We had 12 freshmen that wanted his spot, but he never looked back. And because of that, he ran 18s this year. Daniel Covarrubias. All right, these two can come up together right now, Robbie and Piki. All right. And 4 years later, they have 3 CIF finals under their belts. We have a championship. We've run the fastest time in about 18 years. What they've done in cross country, they've done in the classroom. They're top students. If you're going to build a program, you can't start with better parts. They're just great, great kids. Bobby, Piki. Jack Bradford, first coach, who in 1976, I want to say, turned it over to Coach Phil Ryan. So I decided to name this the Coach Jack Bradford Toughest Runner Trophy, which I'm actually going to change and add Leadership Trophy. This year's recipient for the boys has not missed a cross-country meet in 4 years, has not missed a summer program in 4 years, has not missed a track season in 3 years, and has only run big-time races. Robbie Morton. This is the girls' version of the Coach Jack Bradford. It's one thing to run 4 years for me, but to be such a pivotal part of such a great season, historical in the sense in that it hasn't been done in a long time. And then, like I said earlier, to show up to the big meet, bring your team, and by example, run your fastest race when it counted. If I were to name this the best captain or captain's award, I would name it after Miyoko, because Miyoko actually was one of my first captains, and she really was a captain, took charge of the team. And since then, I've really not had one like that. And Caitlin, this is her team. This is her moment. Gotta have a Rookie of the Year. Dude. Boys Rookie of the Year, John Judge. This is pretty impressive, having two real strong MVPs. Let's start with league champion. 1559 league champion, 3 CIFs, adds up. MVP, Kiki Uter. Girls MVP. We should have had her bring her state patch. That patch looks nicer in your hand than on somebody else's jacket. Come on up, Vanessa. I mean, we know her accomplishments. It's 1841 as a sophomore at Mount Sac. From October 21st to the CIF finals meet, she dropped over 1 minute and 27 seconds. When she got to the state meet, 200 of the top girls in the state didn't lose her cool. She was solid from the first meet to the last meet. Always on top, our #1 girl. So this is your varsity team. I know that some of the younger kids want to say a few words.
On behalf of the team, I want to thank our seniors, Kiki, Robbie, and Daniel, for just all the great experiences you have given all of us for these past 2 years. Robbie, your many catchphrases have given me a lot to think about. During my first week of cross country, I believe you gave me the nickname Bubble Bath.
Robbie, he's one of the reasons why cross country was so cool. He's quite funny, and when it comes to anything, and he has a variety of cool catchphrases, as Drew had said, that show how much he wants to run with all his friends.
Guys, hurry up and stretch.
Caitlin, there is so much to say about you. I will never forget Mount Sac, freshman year, last hill at Poop Out, and I was just telling myself, I'm done. And who comes up behind me and just keeps patting me on the back and says, you can do this?
Probably the first time I really got to know Caitlin was when I was running the summer program. And the first day I told Coach I'd like to run with varsity. That turned out not to be such a good idea because pretty much everyone was way ahead and I had no idea where I was going. And Caitlin was still there running with me. And I asked her, why didn't you go ahead? And she said, oh, because Coach would kill us if you got lost.
My first memory of Coach Miyoko is one of fear. And Coach Mundo. Also, I was afraid of Coach Mundo too.
One of my favorite moments of all of our 4 years was right after I won the league finals. Just the look on your face and your entire reaction was just amazing.
Ryoko is like one of my favorite people on the planet. Whenever we're worried about a race and coach is yelling at us,
And then, so I was like, Mom and Dad, I think I'm going to join cross country. And they were like, honey, are you sure you can run? I'm like,
Finally, there's one more person we had to thank. The one person who kind of made all this possible and really kind of set up the entire makeup. Mrs. Jack.
So we'll see you guys next year, start of the season, summer program, tell your friends. And thank you so much for attending and celebrating with us.